Om Sadashiva-Samarambham Shankaracharya-Madhyamam Asmadacharya-Paryantam Vande Guru-Paramparam Guru-Brahma Guru-Vishnu Guru-Devo Maheshwara Guru-Sakshat Param-Brahma Tasmai Shri-Gurave Namaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Phunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahi Tejasvinavadhitamastu Mahavidyushavaihi Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Verse number 10 onwards we'll chant. Hrutstale mana swastata kriya bhakti yogavo dascha nishchitam Vayurodhanat liyate mana jalapakshivat rodha sadhanam chittavayava chitkriya-yuta shakhayodvoyi sakti mulaka laya vinasane ubhayarodhane Layagatam puna bhavati no mrutam pranabandhanat nasametyada pranabandhanat linamanasam ekachintanat nasametyada nashtamanasot krushtayogina krutyamasti kim Swastitim yata Krutyamasti kim Swastitim yata. As we have been seeing that how especially the understanding happens even though there is methodology of teaching missing, that we have made it very clear. There are a few places the methodology of teaching is missing, but we need to supply carefully. So when highlighting in the beginning stages that pranabandhanat lina manasam, definitely he uses these two words. One was called as absorption of the mind, other one was called completely destruction he used, but we said resolved mind. And we have also seen how the mind has to falsify. However, nicely he brought it by doing a lot of tapas, austerity, especially here pranayama. One will be able to completely withdraw from the world. One will be able to absorb mind, absolutely no problem. But how long? As long as the person's mind is under the effect of pranayama. It's like exactly another type of intoxication like alcohol or any addiction. As long as the person is under the spell of that particular drug, that long mind completely listens to that drug. Once the impact of the drug slows down, then what happens? Slowly you come back to your senses. Same thing also happens any sort of austerities, including pranayama. Forget about this austerities and pranayama that we discussed. Just you don't eat anything, drink water for 10 days. We say 16 days, you will discover every day one kala, one aspect of your sense organs will slow down. Time will come, you will not be able to hear properly. Time will come, of course, you will not be able to, your mind will not say. You will be able to see, but it will not respond to your brain. But the moment you start eating again, what happens? Slowly, again, all your senses will become active. So that is what he highlighted, that when definitely the mind becomes linam, you again will come back. Whereas you need to go for nasham. So nasa means seeing the root cause of it. So once you start seeing the root cause of it, definitely you will see in a better way. However, while discussing this point, also we saw this is a beautiful point, that nashta manasut, this is the difference. If it is a linam, you will come back. You think that mind is under your control. You think you have really mastery over your mind. You will come to conclusion that yes, you are the boss, but in reality you are not the boss. When it is a linam. Whereas when it is a nashtam. So how this nashtam takes place? Because as we have been highlighting lack of methodology of teaching, the nashta will take place. The destruction of the mind will take place. That when you try to understand that there is nothing called mind, in the sense that mind is standing on our projection, it is nothing again mithya. And it does its own job. It's like exactly, please understand. If you are a thirsty person, it's a beautiful concept to understand. If you are really a thirsty person, and in summer, either you are driving alone or with people, and you start seeing the mirage, then what happens? As an ignorant and thirsty person, you will go crazy behind the mirage, thinking that the mirage will be able to quench your thirst. Whereas if you are a wise person and thirsty person, see the difference. First step is you are ignorant and thirsty. Then what happens? With reference to mirage, you will go crazy. How to get that? What to do? What not to do? All sort of projection will happen. The restlessness in you, the rejection, acceptance, all sort of emotions will pop up accordingly. Whereas if you are a knowledgeable person and also thirsty, what happens? Not that you will not see the mirage, you will keep seeing the mirage. Remember this point. Because you are a knowledgeable person, that does not mean that mirage vanishes. Through your eyes, you will be able to see the mirage, but you will never go crazy behind mirage. Can you see this point? Even if somebody nearby sitting and says, hey, look, there is water. Yeah, don't worry. You have to support, because that gives the hope to the person. Hey, don't waste your time. This is mirage after all. If you say, what will happen? A fellow is already thirsty. Now if you say this is mirage, there is no hope, then what happens? There will be a heart attack then and there. You understand? So if you are a compassionate person, if you are a man of understanding, if really you know what is truth, reality, what you will do? Yeah, this there. Just a few kilometers let us drive. You understand? Just a few kilometers, we will get water. Don't worry. Yeah. Can you say, yes, that is what water is. Deep within, even if you do not know, even if you know that there is no water at all, but you give the hope to the person that there is some water. Remember this beautiful point. Then only you will be able to overcome in your life. This is had to be understood very carefully. That's why, please understand how we should look at this point. Here he says beautifully, we really look at that person who is a knowledgeable person. For him, there is no need in the case of this mirage concept. For that person, there is no need of convincing to the other person. There is nothing to do. But the person is busy doing because out of compassion. Because once upon a time the same person has gone through, understands the pain and agony of other person. But in reality, there is no need of doing anything in life. But the person keeps doing everything. That is what is being highlighted here, that we have that we have seen clearly, verse number 15. Krutyamasti kim swasthitim yataha. Is there anything to do in your life when you avoid within yourself? When you have understood yourself? Because all your karma is out of avidya. Let us not forget that. All your karma is out of avidya, ignorance. So, avidya, kama, karma. So, what is the main avidya? That I consider myself. Because of ignorance, that I do not know myself, I consider myself so and so. Starting with deha abhiman. So I have identification with my body. And of course, when I have identification with my body, related to body, now I have identification with anybody and everybody. In fact, all my identification is related to body. Remember this point. Suppose I have negative identification with my body, what I'll do? Now I will run away from home, go to the cave, and I will start identifying with the mosquitoes, okay? Start fighting with the mosquitoes there, inside the cave. What I am highlighting here is that when you understand yourself, this is called understanding, literally makes you to feel secure. Once you feel secure, in reality, there is nothing to do in life. Remember. Because anything and everything that you do, always backed up by insecurity. In fact, an insecure person, in order to be secure, does everything. We say beautifully, please understand, this is the beautiful concept, which in Mundaka Upanishad will come beautifully, that how to convert necessities into comfort. The modern technology, what you call as modern civilization, they only convert comforts into necessities. Like, 10 years, 15 years back in Uttarkashi especially, fan was luxury. Not comfort, okay, luxury. People used to laugh at, why? There is a fan. Do you need a fan over here? I'm just giving you Uttarkashi because it's a cold place. You don't need fan at all. Now what happens? Now forget fan. Even if air condition has become slowly, now luxury over there, now slowly it becomes what? Please understand, necessity. This is called modernization. This is called, so-called, technology-oriented things. But remember, the beauty is in how much you can, or how many how many necessities have been reconverted back to the comforts. There really lies your emotional maturity. So this converting necessities into the comfort, please understand, that I am alive. The body itself is a big comfort. Can you see this point? That I am alive, I am a human being. I have 2 hands, not 3 hands, okay? Or 4 hands. Or I don't have no hand or 1 hand. Just imagine 1 hand. And no hand. I have 2 legs, thank God. Not 3 legs, okay? Then, like auto, rickshaw, then it will topple anywhere, any moment. So, even in spite of 2, I am, doing many things. Imagine 3 legs, what will happen? Thank God I have got only 1 head, not 10 heads, okay? With 1 head, so much disaster. Imagine 10 heads. God only knows. So what I am trying to highlight here is that this body itself is a comfort. In fact, whole life only there is comfort. That's why we say life is, remember, full of luxuries. That's why, remember, live like a luxurious person. Living should be really full of luxury, not so-called luxury, because when you understand yourself, anything and everything you do elegantly. How a luxurious person does elegantly. Can you see this point? What is luxury? Commonly, a luxurious person always supposed to be, okay? There are stupid fellows. That's another point, okay? A luxurious person does everything elegantly. That's why whole life, whatever you do, because there is no pressure in you. This is the most important aspect in life. When there is no pressure in you, of course you do the best. And at the same time, if you don't do, there is, nothing, nobody is going to say anything either. Even if they say, how does it matter to you? That's why, remember, you are not a messiah to rescue others, to help others. This is messiah, I call them mafia, okay? Real, they are not a messiah, they are called mafia, okay? Religious mafia, that's the best word. You don't have to be a religious mafia either. That you have not taken a contract to do anything, but at the same time, out of compassion, and of course your prarabdha, both things together, you may choose to anything, absolutely no problem. Of course, in keeping with the universal values. There is no doubt in it. So that was being highlighted in the verse number 15. That we have seen very carefully. Now, let us look at the verse number 16. Drishyavaritam chittamatmana chittvadarsanam tattvadarsanam Drishyavaritam chittamatmana chittvadarsanam tattvadarsanam. Definitely, the point may arise here. What do you mean by this nashta manasa, destruction of the mind? So he says, very nicely highlights, Drushya varitam, Drushyabhyoho varitam. That means, as you observe your mind is always engaged, or you can say your mind always keeps engaging the sense organs, and that too always they are external. That's why we say that sense organs are always extrovert. Now, when your sense organs are busy in the external world all the time, which is natural, spontaneous, here what happens? Consciously, you are able to withdraw them. So when you start withdrawing all your sense organs from external world to internal world, what we call, internalizing or introspecting, the introspection starts. Then what happens? Slowly you will discover that there will be a distance between you and the object of your thoughts. And of course, between the thought and the sense objects. 3 steps. First, when you start withdrawing yourself from the external world, interestingly, one thing happens. First and foremost thing happens. What you do generally, the moment you start withdrawing yourself, there has to be a distance between the sense object and sense organs. This is the first step. Because unless and until you create a distance between the sense object and sense organs, you will not be able to see how your mind is functioning, how your mind is moving. So once this is being done, the next step would be that how to create distance between you and your thought. This is the next level. Because once you manage to create the distance between you and your thought, then only you will be able to enjoy. Remember, then only you will be able to enjoy all the sense objects. Or else what will happen? Always you will feel threatened. Always you will feel challenged. There will be always insecurity with reference to, remember, your perceptions and experiences. That is what happens to everybody. How people really get destroyed in their life. Not because of anything. Please understand. It is only because the moment they start perceiving, the moment they start experiencing, they don't see or they don't create the distance between the sense organs and sense objects. So when there is no distance between sense organs and sense objects, then each perception, each experiences creates such a havoc, such type of insecurity in you. You really do not know what to do, how to go about it. That's why the first thing what is to be done is learning to create distance between the sense objects and sense organs. That can happen in any way, with a different type of tapas, different means in different ways. In fact, just by closing the eyes also. By closing the eyes, you may choose not to see the object, so that you create a distance between the object and your eyes. But remember, that does not mean that the thought of that object will not come to you. The thought of that object will keep coming. In fact, it strengthens. Sometimes it becomes more stronger than before. That's why the next step is what? To make sure that the thought of the object also should remain as the sense object lie down in the outside world. That's the beautiful point to observe. As the sense objects are in the outside world, moment we close the eyes especially, for example, the color and form cannot appear at least in front of the eyes because eyes are closed. But the thought of that object, that color or form, must not bother me, must not really create problem in my life either. So that is what is being highlighted here. How that is to be done? That to do, remember what is to be done here is, you need to understand Chitva Darshanam. That means what? The appreciation of awareness yourself. So unless, please understand, there is Chitva Darshanam, definitely one cannot do it either. And how it can happen? It says beautifully, Atmanaha Chitta Darshanam. How? Because once the person starts appreciating one's own self, that means the understanding of one's own self that we have seen and will be seeing in different occasions. Much more. That is called Tattva Darshanam. That is called the appreciation of the truth. That means understanding one's own self is the understanding truth. Problem is everybody, I want to know the truth. I want to know the truth. Who wants to know the truth? The one who is standing on the falsification, on the projection. Have you not observed? Especially in the court. Who wants to know the truth? The lawyers. When they fight, lawyers wants to know the truth. And they stand for what? You know better, okay? They don't stand for the truth. They stand for what? Whoever gives money, they support that client. Am I right or not? All over the world, okay? That's why we say they have put a black gown. What does it mean? And inside the black gown there is white dress. It's a funny concept, huh? Means they can convert white into black, black into white, okay? According to their convenience. However, a lawyer wants to know the truth. Just, you look at yourself. When do you want to know the truth? That time you want to know the truth, you demand. You command, not command, demand. When you are standing on falsification called projection. Whereas when you are in reality, is it necessary to know the truth? That's why here it's being highlighted. Understanding yourself is knowing the truth. Appreciating yourself is appreciating the truth. Can you see this point? When you are not able to appreciate yourself, you want to, in order to grown away from yourself, you take all sorts of excuses and finally what you say? I want to know the truth. That's why what is to be done?